My name is Ngatia.
Yes.
That's how most people pronounce it. But the people who gave me the name would pronounce it as Ngatia. Because they are Gikuyu. It's the Gikuyu people. Or at least that's what I was told at birth and growing up. And my name suggests that I'm indeed Gikuyu. I'm a storyteller. And stories, well, of course, vitu kama chai. And particularly stories from history. And I'm a discussion even a memorial. Going round and round, theory, kujiuliza tu maswali. Early on nilikuwa nimeuliza swali ikakuwa discussion, but kima kwa na feel like a discussion. Na ilikuwa about identity. And Manu had a point kutumia to start an experiment. Msee ameshika kamera anaitwa Kim.
Naitwa Kimani Wandaka.
Kuna Emmanuel Maina Langat, Manu, and a producer for somewhere in the vicinity. Manu! And Manu's point was, at some point, someone decides I am this thing, and it becomes a fact. And sometimes people agree with that, and then it becomes an identity. I'd actually like to identify at what point someone decided these particular groups of people identify under this category or this subgroup. At what point does a clan become an ethnic group? At what point does a family become a clan? At what point do I identify with a culture? So it's always good kuanza na mutu. It's pretty easy to be like, maybe the country is called Kenya because of the mountain, but it sounds more logical that the mountain might be named after the country. And so for majority of my life, even though nilikuwa nafikiria nikifanya ma KCP vitu kama hizo. At some point later as an adult, I encountered a story. White explorers that were looking for a bunch of things, the source of River Nile, a way to exploit people who were just minding their own business. And in their forays, they bumped into kitu yenye ifai kuhappen, a snow-peaked mountain on the equator. Two of them, in fact, just because, you know, one miracle isn't enough. And one of those mountains was flat-topped, tunajua leo kama Kilimanjaro. And the other one had 3 peaks, tunajua leo kama Kenya. However, the communities that lived around it had different names for it. Oldonyo Eibor, actually we should get pronunciations for these things right. Or Oldonyo Eger by the Ma community, Kirema Kirinyaga by the Kikuyu Mara and the Wamiro. The white people who happened to be the first Europeans to set eyes on these mountains were very brave and very adventurous, enough to be guided there by the people who lived there anyway. So one of these explorers turned around to the people who had lived there for centuries and asked, so what do you call this mountain? The person to whom the question was posed happened to be Kamba. He's like, Kenya. The down as Kenya. And it was passed down to cartographers and diplomats and constitutional lawyers and people who hand over documents to other people so that they can declare the independence of a country. And a bunch of years later I was born at the foot of the same mountain and given the name Ngatia, which also meant I was a Kenyan citizen by birth. So I'm born at the foot of a mountain that was used to identify this geographical location. And I'm trying to understand Litwa Ngatia, which is how Gikuyu would pronounce it. What does that say about me? Why do I have that name? Where does it come from? How is it given to me? Does that mean there's a way that my community gives names? Yes. How does that inform my background? Does my name carry any meaning? Does it carry any stories from the past? And if yes, does that mean that the names of everyone around me who are named in similar circumstances bear or carry as much meaning? And if they do, then what does that web of stories and meaning and history and all that, what does it look like? So I don't know much about the 19th century either. So I would appreciate anyone with information about territory now known as Kenya in the 19th century or before that, to share whichever community, whichever period, in whichever format. Pictures, archival footage, documents, diaries, research, papers, dissertations, anything that could help. Kusoma tutasoma, kuwatch tutawatch. Alafu We'll find interesting threads of history and stories and people that we can follow around and see how much we can know about ourselves from that point. And maybe that might flow a bit into our stories. Na labda hamna hiyo vitu zote, and all you can help with is, you know, just money. In that case, iko link chini ya hii video in the description. Just click there and leave something. Si ndio Kimani?
Kweli kabisa.
Kimani agrees. Haya, so